Hi, everybody. Welcome to winter term of 2020, the first term of the new decade. I hope you all had a restful and relaxing break, or at least some sort of break. I know it's sometimes hard to balance work and school and life and everything, but I hope you're coming back a little bit refreshed. So uh, let's jump right into week one. Uh, If you start at the homepage here on Canvas, you will click on modules on this sidebar here. Um, I'm not going to go over the start here module again. I went over that in the video I sent out last week before the break. But if you are unclear about anything here, of course, reach out to me. It's very important that you all get a textbook as soon as possible, whether that's the online uh, version, the ebook, or whether you find a new or used copy of the physical textbook, and then a copy of the Wilson book. It's imperative that everybody get a textbook as soon as possible. And then here's some instructions about the term paper. We will go over all of those as they become due. So the first part of that will be due on week 3. And of course, we'll go into much more detail. So the first order of business is this library how-to guide. So one of the back core requirements of this class is that you successfully complete a 8 to 10 page properly cited research paper. So some of you may have written one or more or many of these in the past, and that's great. And so for you, much of this might be review. But for many of the students who are taking this course, in my experience, this is your first time writing a properly cited research paper. And it turns out that those are not terms that are simple common sense. They mean specific things, and so we're going to go over that in this class. One of my main goals in teaching this class is to help you learn how to write a research paper if you don't already know. So that is starts with doing research. Uh, so this week one library how to information literacy and citation. So this starts out with a little bit of stuff about research, about facts and opinions, about how to distinguish between facts and opinions. Um, and then there's a short quiz about it. You don't have to, you can take the quiz as many times as you want. It's not a scored quiz. It doesn't contribute to your grade at all, but you won't be able to move on until you've completed the quiz and gotten 4 out of 5 questions correct. It should be pretty easy. And then there's a little bit about citation. What is citation? Why do we cite? What are the formats? So there are 3 formats that are acceptable in this class, APA, MLA, and Chicago Turabian. These are all right here. If you click through to these, it will give you a guide of what the various things mean. um, so those 2 are due this week. You need to complete them before you'll be able to move on to the week 2 module. And you can do them in concert with this week 1 module. So week 1's tasks. Let's jump into the overview. So week 1 is about anthropology. What is anthropology? So during this week, you will all learn to describe and define the term. We will talk about the 4 main fields of anthropology and their differences. And then we'll begin to talk about evolution. So what are the 6 big events in human evolution? And then we will explain how anthropologists use this very particular tool, the scientific method, to develop and test their ideas. So we're going to do a bunch of things this week. First off is an introduction discussion board. That's not graded, but I'd like everyone to introduce themselves, where you're from, what your major is, why you're taking this course, any interesting facts about you. Um, Welcome to share photos of yourself or video or anything you'd like. So the readings this week, we have chapter 1 of the Larson textbook and chapters 1 through 5 of the Wilson book. Now, don't be too intimidated by the fact that there are 5 chapters to read of Wilson. The chapters are very short. Some of them are only 2 or 3 pages. So when there are readings from the Wilson book, it might look intimidating to read a big chunk of chapters, but it actually tends to be a faster read than a single chapter of Larson. So once you're done with the readings, there's these lectures and links. So every week we will have one or two lectures here. They're just PowerPoint lectures. They are not me reading the lectures. They were designed with the course. They range from a few minutes to 10 minutes or so. And those are required every week. If you watch those, it makes a lot of things become more clear. And then there's optional videos and things most weeks. And those are if you have the time, if you feel like it would be helpful for you. Okay, and then we use in this term we are using a feature called Inquisitive. It is a product produced by Norton, who is the publisher of our textbook. It's not required. It is an extra $20 fee, I think, to get access to it. So I didn't want to make that required, especially because some students find it to be very helpful, but other students find it to be not so helpful. So I didn't want to lock you into something that may or may not be helpful that would cost you more money. However, if you are someone who learns by quizzing and repetition, I would highly recommend Inquisitive. It helps you go through the different aspects of each chapter and determine what's important to remember. And it also links you back to the textbook if you're getting things wrong, so that you can reread and rediscover what you're supposed to know. So if you need any help logging into that or anything like that, please reach out. I have quite a bit of experience doing that. And then discussions. So we will have a discussion every week. This week's is about anthropology. What is anthropology? So what I want you to do is after you read that library research guide, I want you to find a research journal. So on page 22 of the Larson text, there's a list of periodicals in anthropology. I want you to find one of those journals, and you'll click this eJournals link and log in, search for that journal, and explore its homepage. And I want you to find an article that was published in the last 5 years and read it. This might be really difficult. Some of these articles are meant for specialists, and so they can be very dense. They can have a lot of vocabulary you don't understand. So there is a quick little way that I use to help read an academic article very quickly. So you read these here and just write these 3 sentences. So I want a 1-sentence summary of the main conclusion or contribution of the article. What is this article for? Why was it written? What's the point of it? And then a 1-sentence summary of how the researchers arrived at that conclusion. Did they conduct a survey? Did they do what I do, which is excavate, dig holes, and analyze the artifacts within it? Did they measure things? Did they read a bunch of other journal articles and summarize their findings? How did they come to their conclusion? And then a 1-sentence summary of the evidence that they used. So what's the supporting evidence? Is it a set of artifacts? Um, is it the results of a survey? What is the evidence, and how did the evidence link back to their primary conclusion? And so I want you to submit all of that, and then that's due on Wednesday. On Saturday night, you'll read a few other responses and answer these 3 questions about it. So if you have any questions about that, please reach out. And then here's a couple more optional activities. This is the Purdue University Online Writing Lab, which is an outstanding resource if you are struggling with writing. And then here's a site that offers 3D images of fossils. It's great to just bookmark that. And as we get later in the term and start talking about specific hominids and things, it might be very helpful for you. And that is the end of week 1. So summarize again, a couple of readings, an introduction discussion board, the library module, and a discussion post. If you need any help finding the textbook, or if you're having any technical difficulties or anything like that, please reach out. I'm very happy to work with you. I will like to make sure that everybody gets off to a good start this term. There's a lot in this class, and it can be very difficult to catch up once you fall behind. So if you're having any trouble finding a textbook, please let me know as soon as possible so we can work something out. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful first week back. My email address is in the syllabus. I'm also available through Canvas here. And as of I think next week or the week after that, I'm going to start having some office hours available every week where you can meet with me either in person or online. So I will send out an email when all that is ready. Have a great week.